Okay, in this lesson, let's talk about reports. So here's where you can really drill down and get a much better idea of what's actually going on with members that are enrolled in your membership site. So you can see how many people are actually active, if anyone's inactive, how many total members you have, active free members. So you can see I've got about 60 free members because of the way that I utilize this. You can break things down by month, year, or all time. You can sort, within these by specific pieces. So if I want to look yearly, again, I just started using this site in 2017. So you can really drill down and look at all the data. So if you are using Memberpress to actually do the transactions, that's where a lot of this is going to come into play. You can see here that we actually launched this product. I believe it was around I think it was right around the 6th that we put it out there. So that's when ultimately we started seeing a lot of the membership signups and kind of made this something that people would be aware of. So you can see when all the transactions were. You can sort by graphs. You could see other data like refunds, failed transactions, pending, completed. You pretty much have all that data here to look at. You can even see a lifetime average value of your members. So that's pretty cool if you're actually utilizing them as the payment provider. Again, something really good to just be able to have if you are going to be using them to do your payment transactions. Let's look at options as well. So you've got some other options here. You can set up all the different main pages like your thank you page, what happens when people access their account page, like the details about their membership, the login page. Most of this other stuff you probably want to leave it as default, but you do have some unauthorized access messages. You can change some of that stuff, like the default message people might get if they're not allowed to see something. You can go in and change account settings, like what URL, what happens when they log in. Obviously we wanted to send them to a specific page. What's the welcome message they see on that page. You could disable some other functionality like the WordPress admin bar. Like right now I have this bar at the top as a logged in WordPress user. So by default that stuff is disabled. You could force some other changes like make people use an email address as their username. You could do other things like require terms of service on the registration page. All kinds of other things that you could play around with here. You've also got some fields you could play around with like name and address and make people actually utilize these, especially if they're doing purchases. You've also got your payments, so you can integrate a specific email for PayPal. This stuff will all need to be set up prior to actually using the system at all, so you do need to fill this in. And you've also got emails, so what happens when someone logs in, like send them a welcome email. So that was kind of what we did. We just sent a basic welcome email, and you can see again this is all built for you. So it just says, hey, you can log in here. Here's the login page. Here's your username and password. And that's all we wanted to have. So very, very simple. Avoids people from contacting you, trying to figure out how to get into stuff. And then you could do other things, if you had payments enabled, which in this case we don't. You can enable payment receipts. If people cancel their subscription, if they upgraded their subscription, all the different things people would do, you have that here. You can also get email notifications as an admin when people, make actions. We actually disabled this because, if you had 70 people all sign up in the same day, we didn't want to get a whole ton of emails. So we actually disabled this, but you may find that you want to keep these things on because you'll want to know when people are signing up, if you're opening this over a period of time. And then you also have some marketing options. You can enable different integrations with email systems, things like that. You've got some basic info here. You are required to put in a merchant business address. So this is something you will need to do in order to use the platform. You got some general stuff here. You could change your currency. You could set up different paywalls, so you could block search engines or different things around that. And you've also got taxes if you wanted to add in taxes as well. So all that stuff's built in. If you go to the help section, you've also got some videos here on setting up PayPal, setting up authorized net. They give you an overview of a lot of the options. I mean, more or less some of this is, mostly what I'm showing you today, but I thought I'd, make my own version of it and put it together in my own course. So they do have some videos covering some of the training and usability of the system. So I thought I'd show you that as well. Again, some of these are a little bit older, so I don't know how much they've updated the software since they created these, but looks like it's fairly standard. And then if you go to activate, you can actually set up your license. I think by default it is actually covering most of the license key, but you can see where it's active, how many activations you've had, and you can also deactivate the license here. If you have add-ons, this is really important, you may want to install other add-ons. So for example, I use ConvertKit for my email marketing. I could actually install the ConvertKit integration in this way that when someone actually signs up to the site, maybe I want to put them on an email list in my ConvertKit, and that way I can follow up with them. If you also want to use their affiliate program, you want affiliates to be able to promote your site, you can install the Affiliate Royale plugin. So you have the kind of choice of installing these. Obviously, you don't want to have all of them because not everyone is going to have all these different email providers like Constant Contact or ActiveCampaign, Aweber. So really, they're giving you the idea to add in the pieces that you would need. You've also got some custom app integrations for like help desk software like Help Scout. You've also got a whole bunch of different ones, like here's some stuff you can do with user roles and active memberships. So I would highly recommend just really looking into these features in the Memberpress documentation, but definitely, if you are going to be doing email integration, this would be something definitely worth adding as well. So that more or less covers all the features in terms of what you can do with Memberpress. In the next coming videos, I'll show you an example of a couple sites where you could set up a third-party payment provider and why you may want to do that if you're going to be doing things like joint venture partners. Again, you do have quite a bit of functionality here with Affiliate Royale and all the native like payment processing. So you may not have any real reason to do that, but because of the system we were using, we wanted to separate it, and I'll show you what I use for that. And then I'm also going to walk you through the actual membership site. I'll show you kind of the layout and the theme we used with Memberpress so you can actually set all this stuff up yourself.